Today's video, we're going to talk about vet PPC and how to generate hundreds of leads a month at only $10 each or even less, as I'm going to show you with the case study. I'm going to go over here, work with past veterinary clinics to use this exact system to generate these results and what results we actually generated. So you know exactly what results you're going to get for yourself applying these methods to your business, okay? So this isn't your typical, hey, run Google ads. This is all you have to do. No, this is going to be a intermediate to / advanced system. Otherwise, it isn't going to get you the results that I'm claiming you're going to get. Now, that said, don't be scared. Anybody can do this still. You just have to put in a little bit more work than you might think to put this together, but it's easily done by somebody, or you can have somebody do it for you with the instructions I'm giving you here. So I'm going to go through, at the end of the video, there'll be specific numbers, cost per lead for each method. In each place you can get dirt cheap leads online, as well as the closing rates on these leads. How many of the phone calls and form fills you get are going to turn into an actual booked appointment as well. So I will go over exactly all that on this video after I teach you what these particular methods are. So with that said, getting into the content. What I've got here is I've got everything broken out by search campaigns that you're going to run technically on Google as well as Microsoft / Bing. These are the low-hanging fruit opportunities that you want to tap into first. You also have, though, Facebook ads you can run easily in this market / YouTube campaigns for people that are on YouTube / people that are advertising on Gmail and advertising to them when they're checking their email as well through demand gen campaigns, all of which make a profit, some more than others. I'll go through the numbers here, of course, but I'm going to start with the tried and true, the stuff that you should start with as well. That is, you got on the search campaigns, you got general terms and then the pet specific terms, okay? The general terms are like vet near me, emergency vet near me, vet services, all the typical stuff. Now, with this said, okay, you can get a $8 lead cost. That is, when I say lead, I mean a phone call or a form fill here, baby, okay? That is what we are calling a lead here. These leads are going to be profitable to 99% of vets that don't have a trash operation, have a decent intake process, and can get good reviews and all this stuff. In order, though, to get that cost, you have to be able to generate at least 25% of the people hitting your page that you're taking people to from your ad, that click on your ad, to turn into a actual phone call. And that's got to be done by having a specialized, really well-designed landing page, of which, if you don't know how to do this, of course, which nobody's born with this skill, you find somebody who makes landing pages and just specializes in it, ideally, and has proof that they get high conversion rates on other ones that they made. Don't just go to anybody who says they do this, because there's way more people who say they can do it than actually can get a page to convert well and print money for your clinic, okay? Also, you have to not just understand how to find the 2 or 3 ways people search for a vet clinic, but the 100+ different ways, because there's all kinds of different variants. Veterinary clinics, vet clinic near me. So there's a lot of these different variants and ways that people search for a vet, of which you're going to have dedicated ads for each one of them. This is something that in other markets with other people, they call SKAG campaigns, or single keyword ad campaigns, where you write the unique ad for each keyword or each way that people search. And then, so the ad, when they search for cheap vet near me, which maybe you don't want to bid on this keyword, but the ad says cheap vet near me on it. So that when they're trying to decide which ad to click on the top of Google, you're going to get your ad picked most of the time, which is going to get Google want to reward you greatly. Lower cost per click, more clicks, the better portion of the clicks. You're helping their users more than the other advertisers are. And they want to encourage you to stay around as an advertiser. And they're going to roll out the red carpet for you and do everything they can to make sure you don't go anywhere. That's where their system's set up. It's set up to pick the winners and get rid of the losers and expel them out. Just by doing that one little technique, you'll be 3/4 of the way there once you got your landing page. Furthermore, you want to absolutely put your location in the ad itself as well as on the landing page, because that's another thing that people are going to majoritarily care about when they're going to decide if they're going to go to your clinic or somebody else's, if you will, because they're there to go to do business with somebody. I'm going to put the name of my suburb specifically in the ad so people know that I'm local. And then with that, I'm going to run my ad only within a 10-mile radius around my clinic. No more than that. Ideally, you're going to put in your location settings a 3-mile radius and a 10-mile radius so that Google can decide what to bid for your keywords or how much you should be paying per click based upon how close they are, because the closer they are, the more your conversion rate's going to be. So that when they see the ad, they know that you're local and you're close, because that's going to be a major factor in everything involved here. Now, if you have a ton of vets nearby, maybe you just do 3 miles. That's one thing you could try if you're not having the success I'm talking about here and just limiting yourself to that. That's another component to this. And once you put all those different main overall things together, you can get this $8 cost per lead, and you can get a 65% booking rate on the leads that you get into an actual appointment where they're coming in and showing up. That's your basics. That's where most of your volume is going to come from on the search engines itself. Okay, so the other thing you're going to do is you're going to take those same principles and you're going to apply it to the pet-specific keywords. People looking for bird vet, snake vet, lizard vet. There's a ton of different pets, obviously, that you work on, and you may not work on them all. But point is, for every single pet species that you work on, you should be putting together a unique campaign for each one of them. So when somebody really does search for a bird vet, they're going to see an ad with bird vet on it. Okay? And when they click on that ad, you're taking them to a page that doesn't say, we're a vet clinic. No. We are a bird vet clinic. Or if you want to be a bit more edgy, we are a bird specialist, if you will, because that'll get you even more leads for a cheaper cost per lead. Okay? You're going to have what we call in the marketing space a unique funnel for every pet, so that when somebody searches for a bird vet, they're not going to see your ad saying veterinary clinic like the other people are going to do in your market. They're going to see bird vet, and they're going to be taken to a page so they're instantly confirmed that what they saw in that ad, you actually do. They don't have to say, well, maybe they do it, maybe they don't. I'll have to call and find out if they really do this, because every question people raise in their minds when they go to your page, the people are going to call down. And if you cut it enough, you make no money after all your expenses are concerned, and you're wasting your time. You're working for free, baby. With that said, though, the key thing is, because your competition's too lazy to do this or too arrogant to do it, you're going to get an even better result setting things up in a quality way than your competition. And your lead cost is going to be literally like $6 a lead on this if you do it the way that I'm saying, with a 70% booking rate, of which, obviously, when you compare it to the general searches, it's cheaper leads and you get more out of it. You're going to make more money. The problem is, though, here, the fly in the ointment is you're going to get less leads here. 70%-ish of your leads will come from here. 30% will come from here, even though the margins are higher on this. It can easily be half of your profit and half of your profit here. Okay? So that's kind of like what you should expect. Obviously, every market's different. There's different trends for every market. Some markets, there's a bunch of crazy cat ladies. Some markets, there's just people who like dogs or whatever, obviously. But that's your basic search strategy you should follow. And yes, it's going to take you some time to put all that together, but I promise you, it is going to pay and pay well. And you're going to get similar numbers to what we did here, because I've done this multiple times now. Facebook and demand gen campaigns, which you could run through your Google Ads account, and YouTube ads, which you could run through your Google Ads account. This can take your business to a whole nother level. So whereas this is really nice to have and tried and true for most businesses, if you get this right, when you get it right, it can actually produce a lot more leads than this can even though this is actually really profitable. And for your typical vet clinic, fairly large metropolitan area, let's say of 1 million people or more, or we'll just even say 400,000 people or more, you are going to probably make $1 million to $2 million a year in sales the similar margins as you're getting now just from these search campaigns set up right the way that I said it. If you do this, you can double it, okay, on top itself. Double to triple on this, just getting this right. It takes longer to get this right because there's more that you have to optimize with it. Whereas if this is set up right, within 90 days, you're going to be making good money already. You're going to have so much better ads than your competition. It'll just work right away for the most part. With this, there's a lot of fine tuning you're going to have to do. You set up your tracking systems to track when a qualified lead comes in, and then that trains the system to kind of narrow down your targeting more and more and more, if you will. Which, by the way, as far as tracking goes, you absolutely have to have tracking systems to get your search campaign set up right as well. And that means tracking every form fill, every phone call, and I mean actual phone calls, not people clicking on the number. No, actual phone number calls. Okay, and then if you want to do this right, you need to track the sales that you're getting. When somebody comes in and spends money, you feed that back into your ad account. And then you eventually switch over your campaigns to optimize for sales, not leads. At the beginning, you're optimizing for leads until you've got enough sales data in your account, then you optimize for sales. This is something called offline conversion tracking. I've got videos about this topic in specific on my site. Then you can review. This will add even more profit to what you're doing. And so to get to that $1 million, $2 million of sales, you got to do this as well. You got to be able to track your sales. Otherwise, you can't complain to Google, but you're not making enough sales until you give them the sales data. I mean, come on. Really? Give me more sales, Google. I'm not going to give you my sales data. Just get it for me anyway, damn it. I shouldn't have to give you my sales data. You should just give them to me anyway, damn it. That's what most people are saying and doing, which is good for you because if you're just the one person that's not stubborn, you can make all this money for yourself. I want people to be thinking that way so I can earn it all for myself. This is not a game of everybody shows up and we all get along and we all make money together. No, winner's going to take most with Google Ads. You're going to make 80% of the money. The top 20% is going to make 80% of the profit. In fact, the bottom 80% is making almost nothing. And I know that because people don't track the results and Google gets by with it because people just tell themselves that their ads are working and they're really not. They're just wasting their time because they're too cheap to either learn how to do it right or hire somebody to do it right. They just want to do it the bare minimum and trick themselves mentally to say this is good enough. With the Facebook, demand gen, YouTube campaigns, you can start out with just one of these. The key thing here, though, is that if you want to make all the money you can from this, you need to run all of them because this gets you the maximum exposure from your market within the 10-mile radius of where you're at. Or 3, if you decide to go that direction, you have hyper-saturated market. So what you do is you run an offer. A lot of people that never make money with Facebook ads because what do? They say, hey, we have a vet clinic here. Bring your cat or dog in, and we do services. Nobody gives a shit whether you have a vet clinic or not down the street. They only care about what they want. I mean, let's just be honest here. If somebody wants a vet, they can go to Google in 2 seconds, find one. What are you adding in my life telling me you have a vet clinic right now? There's no value is the answer to that, actually. And you got to get that out of your head right away if you're going to make money advertising on Facebook. You got to have what we call an offer in the advertising and marketing space. OFFER, offer. What are you offering me right now that I can benefit with now? Not maybe in the future, now. Why me? Why now? Those are the 2 questions you got to answer when you're trying to decide what you're actually going to tell somebody on Facebook to begin with. But the good thing is, I've already got 2 offers for you here that already are proven, that already work. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. First one being 100-point pet screening. Essentially, you tell people that you're going to do this for the different pets. 100-point cat screening, 100-point dog screening, 100-point bird screening. And the offer is obviously I took this from the auto diagnostic space and the auto repair space. People want to have their car tune-up. Why not a pet tune-up? And this actually ended up working really quite well to where people are going to come in and just see if their pet, if there's anything wrong with them. Do cancer, screening, all the stuff that can go wrong with their pet. So even though their pet's not looking like they're sick, they can at least see if there's an issue with them. We're getting leads for approximately $45 on Facebook. Well, to be honest, this is a blended rate. So between all three of these platforms and campaign types, we've got a $45 lead cost. The closing rate was about 35%, so it's lower than what we have over here. Anybody who does Facebook and Google both knows Facebook leads are crappier, and that's going to always be the case. But that's high for display campaigns as a whole, in general. The reason for that being is when somebody responds to this, they're actually a pretty serious pre-qualified lead. It's not like we're asking people to download an ebook here and hopefully, get them interested in coming in, which they're basically, it's the same thing as saying, hey, come into our vet clinic, but in an indirect way. The key thing here is, like on Facebook, when you put 100-point bird screening on here, service, and you say you're just down the street at XYZ, corner and schedule a reservation now, you put that ad together, Facebook's going to look at the content of your ad and then find other people who already have birds. Because if you have a bird, you probably talked about it on your Facebook profile or in your messages at some point. So they have a pretty good way of matching you up with the people that already have the birds. When you're talking about demand gen campaigns on YouTube that you do through your Google Ads account now, with that, you target your ads based upon people also already being interested in birds as well, which you do through something called a custom intent audience. There's also some preloaded audiences in there for people that are interested in bird-related topics. But generally speaking, Google has all the data about who is interested in what pet. Instead of just saying 100-point pet checklist, which is not going to give you nowhere near the results, you talk about the pet that they actually have. Don't take the shortcut on this. It's not going to get you the results I'm talking about here. So you got to have different funnels for each pet. Again, going back to like the search campaign concept. So if somebody sees an ad with bird on it, you got to take them to a bird landing page. And you got to target the people based upon, of course, what pet they have. And on Facebook, it kind of does the targeting for you. Using an open targeting campaign, it's going to find the people that are bird lovers, have birds as pets anyway. And then it's going to match you up with the right person there. But where it doesn't quite know where to match you up with, or who to match you up with, you have your tracking on Facebook to where when you get an actual appointment and sale, you're going to feed that back into the ad account. Same thing with your YouTube, same thing with your demand gen campaigns. And why I mentioned earlier, why this is going to take so much longer than this to get to work, because you got to run the campaign at a loss for a while for the algorithm to get enough data and through trial and error, figure out exactly who this ad should get in front of. But once it picks up a little bit of traction, it's going to just keep getting more and more profitable for you to the point where it's extremely profitable. Now, and then the lead cost is more expensive than these campaigns, but you're still talking about getting a new client for about $100. And you may say, oh, that's way too expensive. People here spend on average a couple $100 on a visit. I'm not paying 50% marketing cost in order to get a client. You have to be thinking about the actual patient value or our client lifetime value in order to justify running advertising for your business. The smart people that have vet clinics that build these up to multiple millions of dollars and are able to sell them one day understand lifetime value of a client. And everybody pretends like they don't know what a client's worth. Oh, I don't know what a client's worth. How? Sometimes they're big. Sometimes they're small. I don't know. This is real simple, guys. Take the total revenue that you've ever generated at your clinic divided by the total clients you've ever had. And of course, you have some system to track the clients that you have. It's not like every person that comes in has to re-identify themselves all over again, which if you are doing that, that's crazy, beyond crazy. And then you got your average lifetime value of a client. Real simple here, guys. This is anybody could do that. Now that you understand what the real value of a client is, now it's really $600 to $1,000, most likely from what I've talked to, more so. Then now paying $100 for a client and you're getting an assumed revenue of $800, $900 in future revenue from that client, not to mention or not to count any referrals you can get from them. And if you just get a decent referral program going where you actually say to people, hey, for every person you refer, we're going to give you XYZ reward every single time. And then you got multiplication of this. You got 20% to refer. Now the lifetime value is really like $1,100. And then also not to mention two other things. One, a lot of these people that see your offer, they're not going to respond to you right away. They're going to put it in their back pocket and they're going to respond later. And that's not going to show up in these numbers. Also, the more you run ads, the more traffic you drive to your site, the more your organic traffic is going to improve. The rankings on our Google search is going to improve organically for you. The more social traction you're going to get also as well to some degree, because you'll get parallel traffic there. And the organic is going to add incremental sales and ROI to your campaign. A lot of people like to look at this in a vacuum and say, oh, that's not a good enough ROI. Well, when you add it all up, and realistically, if you want to really be good at marketing your business, you got to be able to find a ratio of total sales in your company to total ad spend. Find a ratio you're okay with, and then just keep spending as much as you possibly can, as long as that ratio is maintained. And for a typical clinic, if you could spend 15% of your revenue on advertising, that's going to be your sweet spot for rapid growth. If you try to be like some of those guys who want to spend like 5%, it's going to take forever to grow your clinic. I mean, why not grow it quickly and then just sell it and be done with it? That's what I would be doing. But anyway, that's a great offer right there that you can rip off for yourself. Before I give you the last offer here, there's a lot of small details I did not go over here that I would like you to have and know so you do this the correct way. I mean, of course, you can watch the videos on this channel. I go over all these points in detail, SKAG campaigns, landing page details, all that stuff that you need. Or you can reach out to our firm and we'll just do it for you. I mean, we not only have the experience in the space, but we have all the winning ads, landing page templates, all of it that work for this space already, which you could, by the way, buy from us outright if you wanted to and just use the templates, or you can hire us to do the work, of which we're going to guarantee you get a certain minimum result of your campaign. So that minimum result's going to pay for our management fee already. So really, from that standpoint, it makes no sense to do it yourself, and you can hire us. The profit we make you will cover our fee, and then you're good. But if you're interested in working with us in either capacity, just reach out to me at guaranteedppc.com and I'll talk with you about it. I can get you an 8-quarter projection of what your future results will be. And as you break in these ads, more and more, what results you'll get and at what stage, what is the input's going to need to be at the very beginning to get the thing kicked off and so forth. If you have a one-off question, you can call me up through my site at guaranteedppc.com. You also can leave me a question in the comment section. I get back to every single person who leaves me a question or comment on this channel. As well. And I also have a Discord group that I have that you could find the link to in the video description, where you can ask me questions in there, of which there's a bunch of other people from the channel that are conversing in there as well. It's up to you, I guess, of course, how you handle it. I would say in general, for guys that are doing less than $500K a year in revenue, you do it yourself. You're doing more than that. You're way too busy to do it yourself. And then you hire our agency, because we already know how to do this and set this up exactly the way that I'm describing for you itself. So going back though to what I was saying here, the other major offer that you can run on these platforms is like as so. Is your, insert the name of pet type, not feeling well? Take the quiz, okay? This is what we call a Quizlander or quiz offer. People want to know if their pet is sick, okay? Maybe you've been noticing the pet is kind of like not the same as what they were before. There's a certain population of the pet owners as a whole thinking this. It might be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5% of the people that have a pet, but what you're doing is you're sucking out and you're taking that proclivity of your audience that they have and using it to suck out, leads out of the market. Is your bird not feeling well? Take the quiz. Is your dog not feeling well? Take the quiz. You're kind of preying, if you will, though, on people's insecurities in that they love their pet, they don't want them to be sick. You want to make them feel bad for not taking this quiz, in other words, essentially, so that they don't overlook their pet and let their pet be mistreated. Now, you just said, is your pet sick? Come in and find out. You'll get some leads that way, but not nearly as much as having a quiz, because that takes a whole lot more effort and energy and commitment to do that, actually. So even though they feel bad, maybe not taking care of their pet or dealing with it, let's be frank, have money that they'd rather spend on going to the bar on a Friday night too. People are, they're hypocrites or whatever. The quiz is a great way to get somebody who might feel a little bad, insecure about what's going on, without having to have the drop off you're going to get from people that actually, at least at that given time, spend money. They got to spend money to deal with the issue a lot of times, But what this does is it allows the user to take just a little baby step moving forward in the direction of working with you. Anytime you break the sales process into more steps, it generally makes the rate of business, the number of customers you get, go up. Because once somebody's, someone into the process already, it's easier to get them to take the next step forward. Versus if you just ask somebody all at once, it's just too much too quick for them. It's just like if you were to buy a car and right away they just ask you to buy, you're not going to be ready. If you say, hey, let's take you for a test drive, your test drive makes it more likely you're going to buy than if you didn't take the test drive, which is why they do it, of course. You have the quiz, immediately fire off a phone call to your sales staff that they pick up. It tells them, hey, John just filled out the quiz. Would you like to get in contact with John? Press 1 if so. Hit 1. You can use call drip for this. Then you talk to the person who just took the quiz, saying, hey, I saw the results of your quiz. This is actually not good. I saw that that your pet has signs of X, Y, and Z. Why don't you come in for at least have a checkup? It only costs X, Y, Z amount of money. At least you'll know for sure if there's really an issue. And if there's an issue, or take care of it now. It's not going to be a bigger issue, and it's not going to cause you have to spend X, Y, Z amount of money in the future. And your pet will thank you for it, certainly. That's the funnel. What's the results? $18 lead cost, 6% closing rate on the leads. Your cost per acquisition here is actually quite high. It's over $100. But again, look at lifetime value of a patient. You could justify this to yourself. Or you could do less leads and say to Google when you're under your campaigns, because you can dial in on these campaign types, a certain cost per lead that you're looking for. So if you don't only want to pay $9 for a lead, you just dial the campaign to do that. It just might only deliver a third of the amount of leads that you could get otherwise. You're going to make the most money paying the most money you can for a lead, because you're going to always get more volume that way. But there's obviously a point of diminishing returns, which you got to map that out in an Excel program or something like this. But that's essentially the funnel, though, that I would also go with to extract as many clients as you can from your local 10-mile radius around where you're at. So every single pet owner in your vicinity will basically know who you are, because the system, the data that these ad platforms have, will sniff out and already know who has all the pets and who actually cares about taking care of their pets. Naturally, there's a bunch of people that have a vet already, and you're battling that. But this will certainly get you a few to transfer over. But the main thing being the people that haven't had a vet yet, maybe they just moved, you're almost going to for sure get them, because you're going to get in front of them before anybody else gets in front of them itself. The average person might send out a direct mail piece to somebody who moves into the area saying we have a vet. That's not going to be effective. Getting in front of the people with the very precise message is way different. It's like taking a sniper rifle and going hunting with that versus trying to hunt with a net or something like that. It's like not even the same. Generally speaking, ROI is better on Google search ads, $8 a lead, $6 a lead, booking out almost 70%. Whereas with the display ads, Facebook, demand gen, YouTube campaigns, you're going to be paying, a lot more per lead, and the closing rate isn't going to be as good, but you can get 2-3 times as much business out of running ads when you read that as well. So if you wanted to get this up to where you're generating several $1 million a year in revenue for your business, I would be running all of it in conjunction with one another itself. And then eventually getting that up to where you're generating closer to $5 million a year in sales revenue once you add in the sales from this, plus the organic rankings you're going to get as a result of running a heavy ad traffic campaign to your business. And then you're in a position to sell it, ultimately, which our client is on the latest project that we've worked on. Anyway, that is the formula right there. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section. Another great resource, by the way, on my site, on my blog at guaranteedppc.com/blog, where I have all the strategies I use to guarantee our clients' results at our firm, which, of course, like I mentioned earlier, we do. Otherwise, we don't get paid a management fee. We're the only agency out there doing that. If you like the channel, you'll like the blog as well, so check that out as well. But with that said, I'll wrap it up with that. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. If you want to see another video, click here. It is one of my best ones.